Okay, on today's episode of The Lab, we go a bit different. I'll review several iOS games as I've come to realize that, well, tablets are real gaming consoles, depending on how you look at it, with a plethora of great games. I'll also review Splinter Blacklist as promised. Interviews with two indie game developers, one from Jamaica and one from Israel. Yeah, things are about to get real interesting. You've just entered The Lab. Okay, first things first. Here's our review of Splinter Blacklist for the Wii U. In an age where multiplayer lobbies are so filled and so many devs are turning their emphasis on that arena, it's great to know we still have a few great single-player campaigns to look forward to. Now, Blacklist has its fair shares of ups and downs. Let's get to it.
Everyone clear? Let's make this prep quick.
The story here is simple and convoluted at the same time. It's simple because in a nutshell, there's another disgruntled group of rogue nations called the Engineers who's carrying a major grudge for the US, and so there's a list. A countdown of attacks on various US interests.
They're calling the attacks the Blacklist.
The Blacklist. The Blacklist.
It gets convoluted once you go deeper in the story. The Unit 4th Echelon, led by Sam Fisher's sole purpose at this point is to stop this Blacklist countdown. The story plays out well with good voice acting and great audio all round.
Let Sarah know I'll be offline for a few days.
Sarah, she's still single, right? No? I'm gonna take that as a no.
Stop hacking base IT, we're guests here.
The voice acting is exactly what I've come to expect from another A-list Ubisoft release. On the Wii U's edition, you're given the option to play the entire game on the Wii pad. This is a welcomed option, as it can come in handy, but not one I've used for any Wii game to date. Yeah, I'm a sucker for a big screen.
Understood.
The various gadgets and weapons we've grown accustomed to in the Splinter Cell series are of course present and very helpful, and the upgrades available go a far way in aiding your missions. You can also upgrade the plane you're traveling around on, which serves as your headquarters or office, so to speak. Pay close attention to these upgrades though, as some are not useful if you're playing on perfectionist mode, which is of course the mode I jumped straight into. This brings me to the difficulty settings. Similar to Hitman Absolution, you're given several choices. This is fine if that's your bag, but I've always wished games would do away with the whole difficulty option thing. But I am aware of the logics behind it. I play games on the hardest settings for several reasons, ranging from petty ones like bragging rights and ego to more important ones like not being told at the end of the game that if you'd like to unlock so-and-so, I need to play at a harder level. I have no interest in playing the same campaign twice.
Really?
The graphics in Blacklist are good, and can look even better depending on the TV you're playing on. I learned this from personal experience. But though the visuals are nice, there's still just some little too late Wii U graphics. Now I know that sounds a bit harsh, but when you know better, you act accordingly. We have the PS4 and Xbox One now. Poor little Nintendo, always a step behind.
Focus.
The enemy AI is pretty good. Maybe on the lower difficulty settings they're as dumb as a box of nails, but they put up a strong resistance on perfectionist. You have the options and are rewarded based on 3 different styles of playing: Ghost, Panther, and Assault. Now while playing regardless of this grading system, I just did what came natural in any given stage. For most part, the Panther playstyle worked best, as getting a good grade for Ghost would mean you kill as little enemies as possible and got through without being detected. And Assault, as the name suggests, meant you basically tore everything up, which in games like these hardly ever work. So instead of trying to achieve these awards at the risk of compromising my level of enjoyment, I simply stuck to the by any means necessary concept, and most of the time, Panther was it. You also have side missions you can embark on, ranging from gathering intel from laptops laying around and capturing high-value targets.
HVT secured.
You can also choose side missions from your team members aboard your flying office.
It always looks easy on the screen, Grim.
There are some things though that rubs me the wrong way with this game. First, it's a stealth game, a very good one I might add. But then, little things like not being able to drag a body, that's a ridiculous omission. As ridiculous as that feature in Far Cry 3 that does not allow you to pick up a body after dropping it, well I guess that's not really a feature as much as it is an oversight. But in Blacklist, you have to sling the carcass, be it man or dog, over your shoulders and carry it away. Why? I believe in order to develop a game like this one must be some level of genius. So how could all these devs get together and not see the idiocy of this?
Good question.
Didn't you guys play Absolution? Now think about it. You take down an enemy behind cover. Wouldn't you prefer to stay out of sight by remaining low, drag the body to a safe place for disposal? Another thing are the insane load times. I mean, crazy load times. You'll experience this mainly when starting a new mission.
What's our move, Sam?
Sometimes the controller features seem a bit too slidey, especially for a stealth game that requires precision. It feels like some movements of the controller should give you one step, but Sam makes an extra move or two. This might seem like a minor thing, but get in game and feel it for yourself, and you'll see what I'm saying. When using the snake cam for the first time, it took me a while to realize how it actually worked, and that's because of how odd it's set up. You'll have to look at the bottom of the door in order for the prompt to appear. Here's another peeve, as I'm sure this is what all my complaints seem like. There's a pause after a stealth kill or takedown, a very short pause, but a pause nonetheless. Here again is why this is a problem. Sometimes you execute a really risky takedown. Say two enemies are around and you need to take one out before the other realizes what's going on. You need to move real fast, stick and move so to speak. So this is where the whole drag a body thing comes back into play. Seamless transitions between movements. That's what I'm talking about. No fumbling about and taking the long routes like struggling to throw a body over your shoulders, when you could simply drag it directly from a takedown. Then there's good old bullet damage. Come on, Ubisoft. Games like these boast a bit more realism than others, but sometimes I know I got a headshot in, and the guy is still up and about. Games like these, even if you restrict it to perfectionist modes only, one-shot kills would be really appreciated. Last but certainly not least, multiplayer. Now you can play Spy vs Mercs, where you can either play as a merc in first-person mode and do the run-and-gun thing, or as a spy in third person who moves stealthily. You can choose from various modes including a team deathmatch. You also have the option to play co-op levels. But here's my major issue with Blacklist multiplayer. And maybe this is just a Wii U thing, but it takes forever to get a match and sometimes there are these ridiculous glitches and update after update does not seem to be offering solutions.
I know, weird, right?
But fortunately, Blacklist offers a solid single player experience. So with more thumbs up than downs, the lab gives Splinter Cell Blacklist an 8 out of 10.
Understood.
Am I missing something?
After the break, we talk to two indie game devs and look at some iOS games.